Howdy y'all, Jackson here with Ictric Studios, and welcome to another episode of Just Some Rambling. First off, I'd like to apologize for my absence over the last month or so. I've been actually working on a couple of things. I have a big project that's coming to YouTube starting tomorrow. It's actually been going on over on Operation Sports for about 2 weeks or so, but I'll be carrying it and catching up on YouTube over the course of this week. Um, what that project is World Virtual League of Gridiron Football, which is my own fantasy league using historical players and stuff. It runs on my tech sim that I use for the college football playoff videos and stuff, which you guys probably don't know, but is not not a like a product. It's a self-developed thing. I might do a video on explaining everything behind that sometime in the future if that is something you're interested in and seeing the tech sim that I use for those. So more information will come out on that tomorrow as I go through explaining week one and stuff. Also, college football playoff videos will be coming back on Wednesday. The first episode back will be the 1958 college football playoff, since that is a comment I saw over the course of while I've been gone. Again, sorry for just not uploading anything. Now into the first topic. There's only a couple topics. The first week, and I guess 2 weeks, because you count week zero of college football. I'm just going to talk about some games and my thoughts on them over the first week of college football. So this last Saturday, of course, was the first week of college football, and the week before, obviously, was week zero. So I'm going to talk about both week zero games and then just eight or so games from week one. First off, there's a couple thoughts about each game, not really anything in depth at all. I want to talk about Florida Miami. Obviously, was like the first game of the season. It was rather kind of a, a flub. It was not particularly good. First off, with Miami, poor Tate Martell transferring there, thinking he's going to win the starting job. He obviously wouldn't have won the starting job at Ohio State based on what Justin Fields did this week, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he transfers again. He could probably transfer back home to like UNLV or something, get the starting job, no problem there. Um, yeah, so Florida barely won 24-20, so they're probably not as strong as number eight as they were coming into the season. So yeah, the next game that night was Arizona Hawaii. It was a game in Hawaii. Kevin Sumlin has obviously not worked out for Arizona as they lose 38-45 to the Rainbow Warriors. Um, Khalil Tate, well, actually, both quarterbacks were not great. Uh, Khalil Tate making that run at the end was stupid. I mean, despite the fact he came up 1 yard short, he probably should have just chucked it. That was a stupid idea to run for like 20 yards at the end of the game to try to get in the end zone when you're going to run out of time. There was Cole McDonald who just was chucking out balls. Uh, Anyways, yeah, next game over to week one. Obviously, everybody's favorite, least favorite group of five team, the UCF Golden Knights, just smashed the FCS opponent they played, Florida A&M. Brandon Wimbush, the transfer quarterback who's taking over Mackenzie Milton, played well, as did their backups they put in as well. So everybody got some playing time. Brandon Wimbush, if you're not familiar, is the guy who started the season as the quarterback for Notre Dame last year before being replaced by Eden Books. Um, so look for UCF to continue to be a you know threat of, I guess, bull busting. Next game, well, I'm looking at is Clemson, Georgia Tech. Clemson proves to still be the formidable, just as formidable as we thought they were. Trevor Lawrence did not play particularly great, throwing more interceptions than touchdowns, but Clemson still just rolled over Georgia Tech, 52-14. Uh, you have the almost upset. You had triple overtime in Northern Iowa, Iowa State. Uh, Obviously, Iowa State probably not going to be ranked next week, though. Do not actually discredit Northern Iowa. They're a good football program. They are a top 25 FCS program. I believe they were top. They were like 18th or so, so they should be moving up. Though I wouldn't expect them to compete for a title because I think North Dakota State's probably just going to roll again. Next game we got look at is LSU Georgia Southern. I thought this game was going to be better than what it was. I thought Georgia Southern would be able to run the clock a lot more than they did, as LSU just stomped Georgia Southern 55-3. Uh, Next game I want to look at is sorry about that. Howard at Maryland. This is always Howard actually had an upset a couple years ago over UNLV, I believe, where they were like the biggest underdog to ever win whatever to actually win the game outright. But they just got smashed 79-0. Cam Newton's little brother did not play great. He was like what, like 2 for 11 or something like that. It was horrible. So Maryland continues to have strong opening week performances, except they didn't have to beat up on Texas this year because probably Texas didn't want to play them again. Next game is my team, the Michigan fan. You had about Michigan, Middle Tennessee. Uh, not as strong of a performance as I would like to have seen out of the Michigan Wolverines. Uh, Shea Patterson fumbled on the first offensive possession after a 15-yard gain. He also got banged up a little bit as McCaffrey and Milton both came in for a little bit. But they won 40-21. I don't believe they covered, so could have been off. Could have been a better start, and they're coming up against the trap game next week against Army, though Army did not win as convincingly as I would have expected over Rice, only winning by 7, but still managing to kill clock. All right, the probably game of the week, you had Auburn, Oregon, which came down to the wire with Bo Nix throwing that touchdown pass with under 10 seconds remaining. Plus, leading, yeah, and, leading 14 points in the fourth quarter. So, anyways, yeah. And then the last game, which you kind of want to mention, is sorry about the pause. With Syracuse and Liberty, it wasn't really much of a game. It was kind of interesting to see Hugh Freeze kind of throw out his back or whatever he did and have to do a game coaching from the press box, or I guess the coach's booth. But anyways, I hope he recovers well, and both teams, have a decent season. So let's head over to the professional side of football and do some predictions for the NFL season coming up. All right, with the NFL season, obviously, we're just gonna go through who I think is gonna main their divisions, who's gonna get wild cards, and a Super Bowl pick. So obviously, you have the AFC. The East is pretty easy. It's probably going to be the Patriots, hands down. Buffalo has improved, but I don't think they're good enough to win the division. And Miami's totally thrown in the towel already. And the Jets are, the Jets. The NFC North, I believe probably. Sorry about that. Baltimore's probably going to win the division. Pittsburgh's definitely taking a step back. Cincinnati is, you know, Cleveland has definitely improved, but I don't see them winning the division, at least first with a first-year head coach, uh, and with the kind of team Baltimore has running. AFC South, obviously, everything completely changed when Andrew Luck surprised retirement. So I have Jacksonville winning that division. I think they're going to bounce back, because their defense is probably going to kind of rebound, and their offense will have went up just a bit with Nick Foles over Blake Bortles to I think to where they can win that division. Um, AFC West, I think Kansas City will probably win that with Pat Mahomes So AFC wildcards, I'm gonna go with Cleveland getting into the playoffs for the first time in forever, and the Chargers. I don't expect either of them to probably win a playoff game, but I think they will both get in. Coming to the Super Bowl, I believe, will probably be the Patriots yet again. So, long live the evil empire. All right, heading over to the NFC East, I think Philadelphia will reclaim the winning to win that division. Um, I think Carson Wentz is due for finally a healthy year, so I think that will be enough to propel them to the division. The NFC North, I'm going to take Chicago to repeat. I may be a little biased since I live in the Chicagoland area, but I feel like their defense will keep them around, and Mitch Trubisky is due to at least make another small step forward. The NFC South, I believe the Saints will win. Drew Brees will continue to run that offense smoothly, even though they rely more on the run now than they did, but they also are winning more than they did. And the NFC West, I see the Rams pretty much easily winning that division. For the wild cards, I feel we will see Dallas out of the NFC East and Atlanta returning to the playoffs out of the NFC South. Uh, Going to the Super Bowl, I probably have the probably the Saints getting revenge over the Rams in the NFC Championship game to return to the Super Bowl for the first time in almost like what 10 years almost now. And I feel like we'll finally get a good Super Bowl, a good old man quarterback Super Bowl between Brady and the Saints, and I think probably the Patriots would uh would win, considering on how well their defense played in the Super Bowl last year. I feel like Belichick would probably figure out a good way to do that. So anyway, so that is my choice. You have the Patriots over Saints in the Super Bowl. You have the Pats winning the AFC East, the Baltimore AFC North, Jacksonville AFC South, Kansas City AFC West with the Chargers and Browns as the wild card in the NFC. You have Philadelphia in the East, Chicago in the North, New Orleans in the South, and the Rams in the West, with Dallas and Atlanta getting the wild cards. Anyways, thank you for watching. Again, very sorry about the absence over the last month, but my bread and butter series will be returning Wednesday, so be on the lookout for that. Again, if you have not already, please consider subscribing if you enjoy football and football content. Again, thank you for watching. Bye.